Okay, we are going to start this today.
There you go.
Yeah, I turned on record. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. This is the first event that Not Your Average American has held live. We are super excited to do this. I also have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous. This is the first time I've held a live event, but luckily I have Vinicio by my side and he makes me think anything is possible. I have seen him do so many wonderful things since we've known each other. We would love each of you to introduce yourself in the chat. I won't get to mentioning everyone who's here, but it would be nice for Vinicio to see that he has people from all around the world interested in learning more about him and all of the wonderful things that he's doing. I also just want to take a quick moment to introduce my company, NotYourAverageAmerican.com. We have a website where we write about our experiences in South America, very particularly in Ecuador. We lived there for 3 years in Quito, and my husband and I travel back as often as possible. We really believe in making strong connections between North and South America. North Americans very often travel to Europe. They don't often think of traveling to South America, and we just want to make every place in South America more accessible to North Americans. I am going to share a poll with you guys today. If you would take a quick minute to answer these two questions for us. The first question is, how do you know Vinicio Paz? If you've met about him, heard about him before, or you know how you met him, please just give us a clue. And we'd love to know how you heard about today's event. One of the things that I need to do as a business owner is learn which of our methods of advertising are working and which ones we need to work better on. So if you would just take a couple of minutes to do that for me, I would really appreciate it. Yeah, let's see. We've got Sam visiting from Golden, Colorado, Minda from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Jackie's left us a nice little note. Greetings from Ecuador. Marion Porter, Salt Spring Island, British Columbia. This is a great audience, Vinicio.
Wow.
How do you feel right now?
I'm excited. Very excited.
This is wonderful. We're going to give this poll just a couple more minutes.
There you go.
Okay, we've almost got 100% participation. Toledo, Ohio. That's Paul. We have Samuel from Golden, Colorado, who was in Ecuador in 2012. Sam, I moved to Ecuador in 2013, and I know in 10 years, so many things have changed. You need to go again. Okay, we're going to go ahead and end this poll. And thank you very much. Just in case you guys would like to see, I'll show you. Most of you learned about this through Refugio Paz de las Aves. That's probably the follow-up we did on our GoFundMe campaign. And 29% of you. Yes?
Hola, mi Dani. No me molestes. ¿Qué pasó?
I'm sorry, Jackie. I think you unmuted yourself. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. So, and for 29% of you, it's the first time that you have met Vinicio. So that's pretty cool. I love this. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to share the screen. And Vinicio, I'm going to introduce you. The first time I heard about Vinicio Paz was not in person. It was actually when I was visiting Refugio Paz de las Aves, which is the project, the ecotourism project run by his family in Mindo, Ecuador. And I was talking to his father, Angel. And Angel was very proudly explaining how Vinicio was going to be a part of the business and how they couldn't be doing what they were doing without Vinicio's help. Angel is so proud of his son. It is absolutely a wonderful way to have learned about Vinicio. And when I heard about the opportunity to help Refugio Paz save the family land, which we're going to hear a little bit more about during this presentation, it was very easy for me to jump in and say, please, let me help with this. Vinicio has been a joy to work with. We've partnered on several things. I'm working with him now as a business coach. And I tell you, every day I speak with Vinicio, I feel like I can do so much more. So thank you very much. Vinicio, we're really looking forward to learning how tourism changed your life.
Angie, thank you for the introduction. Introduce me, and I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna do my best, okay? And
Okay.
first of all, I want to say thank you, everyone, to to see this presentation, and I am gonna be open my heart and open to everyone that how important and how tourism changed my life. And so I think so. I'm gonna start this presentation. My name is Vinicio Paz, and I was born in a very little town. If you can see the photo, is very magic town. It is Nanegalito. So this is a very small town which is in the middle of the cloud forest area. It's just 2 hours from the main city, from Quito. And in this little town, we have some facilities as very important, like the high schools and primary school. But the thing is to once born in this area where a lot of humble people can live around, and people who trying to to survive in these little towns. I am so grateful with to be part of this, to be growing in this area. I learned a lot of from here. And this is me when I was little kid. So I was a crazy dreamer that I was looking. Usually when I was in Ecuador, to play soccer is very important, and one of my dreams was to be called as a Maradona. I remember, but I end as a Bolon. So you might asking what is Bolon, but Bolon in Spanish means there's a little ball with is a ball made with green plantain. And and I always trying to search myself why they call me Bolon. I did my search, and I talked to the best one of the my dad's best friend, and I asked, why do you call me Bolon? And then I answered that they say, because when you were kid, you were like a little dumpling. And I say, really? So it was so funny. That's why they call me Bolon. But I will say, if you want to visit Ecuador and you want me to visit me, and then you ask for my name, you might don't have any good answers, because everyone's know me as a Bolon. So, but when you are kid, you have some dreams, and one of my best dream was to be able to study and to have some opportunities. And I did. I was very lucky that I you know I I assist to my elementary school, and then I went to my I would say high school, which is in the middle of the cloud forest. I just love it. This kind of, when I was studying here, I was always trying to be more getting into the conservation time. That's why in my high school I get like I would say degree for tourism. And not many people in Ecuador can study. Not many people, because so the education in Ecuador, the formal education in Ecuador, there is free. Yes, but there's so many things that you have to be able to to have together, like transportation, like food, like accommodation, that kind of stuff. And some people can make it happen. And then I went to my high school, and I was trying to grow in, and then I went to the university, which I get my degree in tourism and environmental conservation. And this was it. This was my dream, to have a degree in Ecuador, because my dad and my mom, they always worked so hard, because they want me to give a good opportunity, and I
Vinicio,
feel like they did.
Vinicio, I wanted to ask you a question at this
Yeah.
point in time. In your community, how many people do you know who got a university education?
So I will say there is a very few people of in especially when we are in these little areas where we are, or these little towns, because the universities in Ecuador, there are in the cities, in the main cities like Quito, Cuenca, and some other places, or bigger cities. So if you are living in this case, in my case, in Anegalito, my dad, he could afford to pay me a rent in Quito to give me some money for transportation. Um, and to be able to, to assist to my classes. So that's why for many other people, it's very, very difficult to get into the university. They are public for sure, but believe or not, if people from the little towns, if they really have a desire to go to study, but how are they going to go there? They
Right.
need to pay the rent, they need to pay the food, they need to pay transportation, and they need to pay for copies, for all that kind of stuff. So that's why it makes so hard for some people who has low incomes in Ecuador.
Okay. So let's go on.
Yeah, but let's say this is my heroes. So my dad and my mom, they work all life so hard. They, you can believe it, my mom background, my dad background, so they work so hard. My dad was a lumberjack, and
Lumberjack.
lumberjack. So he was working in this job for many years since he was 15 or 16 years old. Imagine, he was cutting the trees and making wood for 1 week. I didn't have dad for 1 week, and I didn't have mom for 1 week, because they go so far in the deep forest and they make a living there. So imagine, they were like 1 week, and the way that they were, supporting themselves is, my dad, he was killing some animals and then that kind of stuff. And then, because we have a little incomes coming with that activity, my mom, she was a housekeeper. So I remember that I also, to help my family, I was selling candies in the buses. I was selling candies in little areas where there's a crowd of people, selling things, to make some money for me, for my dad, and for my mom. That's why they work so hard for 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 give me a good opportunities. So if you know, in the beginning, they were working in this in cutting trees and that kind of stuff, and they, because it was so low, they moved to the agriculture, and they moved to planting some tree tomatoes, as you can see in the photos. So he is spraying the chemicals, because this is one of the biggest problem in my area, because I know that the most important to growing tree tomatoes, to growing blackberries, to growing passion fruit, to growing anything, any product, the best areas as the primary forest, because we think that is the more richest nutrition that these areas has to be able to produce these tree tomatoes. But it was so hard. Now my dad, he has some problems since he was using a lot of chemicals. So fortunately, yeah, that changed. And I want to say, I never knew that my dad and my mom, they didn't want it any day, any day. I don't remember any day that my dad wasn't, wanted to, give a better life. He always, always, always was working. I never know any day that they didn't work and trying to give me a better life. And as you can see this photo, this is how Ecuador is, right? What do you think, Angie? Can you?
Yeah, I think a lot of the Americans, or a lot of the people in this audience, aren't going to understand what they're looking at. We've got your dad, and your mom is behind him on a donkey, and they've got a big old container, a canister on the side. I know from living in Ecuador what's going on, but I think it's hard for Americans to understand that they're actually carrying milk to market.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. So what happened is, the farm where we were working in that time, it was 1 hour one way walk, and 1 hour one way back. So when I was kid, I have to walk all the way down to get to the bus and go to the school. So imagine every day. That's why I think so I'm little, but this is when I was, in my school. I was walking 1 hour to get there, and with the mule that we are using to was like a or BMW.
Yeah, it was your BMW. I get it. Yeah, it was like having a little motorcycle on legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened? What changed?
So this is something magic happened in my life, in my family life. So in 2005, since my dad started working everything, cutting trees, agriculture, farming in general. In 2005, something happened. My dad, he just started with a new idea. And in this new idea was to create a tourism as a new alternative to, to survive. And and believe or not, he created the Refugio Paz de las Aves. In this photo, this is one of the first photos that some guests give us, and I am in the back trying writing. I think I was writing the email or something, and I was involved in the beginning. So my mom, my aunt, my dad, and my cousins, right now they are involved in the tourism too. So we are keeping this tourism now.
I would like to address something in here. It says the entrance fee was $10. Can
Yeah.
you sort of explain what $10 a day
So
meant?
this is in 2007. This photo we started in 2005.
Okay.
So when we started the business, when my dad started open the first time, we were charging $5 for person, and $5 it was one day work, the full day work for my dad. Can be fumigation, can be anything. It's $4 a day. And then when the first guest came, I remember he paid $5 for the entry and $10 for the tip. And I said, it was we were so much very it was something very unique for us, because imagine this family, small family, we just knew some people around us, and then some people from all over the world came, and they said, wow, what's happening here?
Yeah,
So it was amazing.
you were telling me your mom used to work for about $4 a day cleaning houses, and she was
Cleaning
working
houses.
often more than 8 hours a day. And then
Absolutely.
now they opened the property to show bird watchers the birds on the property, and you're charging $5 to $10 per person,
Person. Hmm.
and it changed the quality of life for your entire family.
Yeah, but Angie, this, believe or not, it's something like when you start, you want to do the best for everything, because my family, we were very excited for, and we didn't know how much you charge. We don't know anything. So with people like you guys, they came, and they'll be able to say, you know what, start doing this, and then we start like, okay, let's charge $5, let's charge $10, and that
Hold
kind
on
of stuff.
just a second. I'm going to ask, I'm looking to see, we've got so many people on. Somebody's not muted. I think, yeah, I need somebody to mute.
There you go.
There we go. I think we're better. Okie doke.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Vinicio.
No problem. So
Yeah.
this is the magic photo. Everything starts from here, the tourism.
So let's see.
So so let me talk about this, the refugio. So for many of the audience, they know what's refugio, but refugio start with the idea of my dad, the Angel Paz. So he started with very innovative idea, trying to communicate with this bird, which is the giant ampita. This is the ampitas we were talking about. Is one of the rarest bird, and also in danger and extinction. and it was so difficult to see for bird watchers, and believe or not, my dad, he was following this bird in the forest, trying to make friends with them, and finally he did it. And that's why this bird is very, very important for our refugio. The first time that we saw the giant anpita, it was when everything came really Refugio Paz de las Aves, because a lot of people went and see that bird. And this is the team. I will start from the left. It's my mom, Maria Florcita, and then to the right is my dad, Angel Paz, my uncle Rodrigo, and to the right, Dianita. So they start working from 2005 in this refugio. And now look at the change. You can see the photo, look at the change. So that's why I feel like for humble people, for people who didn't know nothing about tourism, they couldn't change, and they are changing lives too. That's why refugio is very important for 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 many places. So
I want to
this,
take a moment to
yeah,
read this for
yeah,
for
please.
our audience. Just recently, we're going to get onto the campaign, but this conservation biologist who had visited Refugio Paz de las Aves before had this to say about the work. The dedication and passion of Angel and Rodrigo is palpable when you meet them. And that is perhaps the most important element of this project, the power of Ecuadorians to protect their own land for future generations, people, and wildlife. What did that mean when you heard that, Vinicio, when Becca said this
So
about your dad and your uncle?
so this is this was in the very tough time. So the Refugio Pass started this, this, I will say, business in 2005 in my grandmother farm. And for many years, we were working in this land, trying to protect the rest of the forest, because most of half of the farm was cut for to put some grass and to raise some cows. So for my family, for my dad and my uncle to be able to protect, we have a lot of problems with my 9 uncles. I have 9 uncles, and I have more than 90 close relatives in cousins, aunts, every 90. So to be able to protect this area, to say we don't want to cut, we can keep the business, showing people the bird, and we protect this. But in this time, my grandmother passed 3 years ago, like 2 years ago, she passed. So, and then the farm, it was transferred to 9 uncles, and that was where it was so difficult for us. And I decide to buy the land, and I decide to create this very successful fundraising that most of you, the people who are here, help us, and we achieved the goals in just 3 months, because I was very short period of time that my uncles they give me to get, to be able to buy the land. And we did it. And this is the campaign that I ran with Angie. Angie is one of the who helped a lot with this campaign. And without her, I think so was also, we couldn't make it. I don't know, but
I don't
I
know
think so.
about
It
that, but it
helped a
was a
lot.
great time. We had, I mean, it was nerve wracking, but we also had a great time developing the story. I'm going to put a link in the for people if they would like to read more about the story in a little bit here about what happened with Refugio Paz. And yeah, it was exciting, Benicio. And I just
Yeah.
took this screenshot 2 days ago. People are still donating to the campaign.
That's something very unique for us. And also my dad and my mom, my family was so much, you know I would say we didn't believe it, when we saw that, it was just a dream, and we get it. And so because we be able to achieve the goal, we buy the land, and now for everyone, and I'm so happy to tell this, because so many people help us as a regular person. I did the campaign, and it was under Vinicio Paz, but they trust me, and they trust my family business, and they donate money, and we buy the land. Now the big goal that we are doing is we put it as a foundation. So we create the Foundation Paz de las Aves. Why? Because we want to protect the birds, we want to protect the land forever, because so many people also asking, what's going to happen if I dead, or my dad dead, or somebody. So right now, this land is going to be protected forever. And we have one of 4 projects that we're going to work in this is to reforestation the rest of the land, to protect the primary forest, to protect the more than 186 species of bird that you can see in this place. And we are very commitment to help people and give more opportunities for I don't know in English, becas,
Scholarships.
to help them, and they can, take more opportunities to in their life. So that's why we create this foundation.
Would you tell us a little bit about the little girl in the photo?
Yeah. So I took this photo in the refugio. This is the place and so my idea is these little kids can help a lot. This girl is my cousin, and she loves birds right now. Look at how she's looking there, and she loves the birds. So what happened is we are going to protect this for new generations, because new generations, they want to see this. And that's why I took this photo. And the left there, the little bird is toucan barbet. So
what's your cousin's name?
Amy.
Amy. And what kind of education are you hoping for Amy?
So because we are involved in this kind of tourism, so I think so she's gonna go to primary and high school and get some degrees, maybe biology, I don't know. She's gonna decide in this case, but I will say, because we are so lucky and grateful with the tourism, she will do it. Maybe in the past, maybe no.
Right. She's going to have more opportunity.
For sure. So that's why for me, I know that tourism can help young people. I think so. This is my photo. This is a photo of a very great photographer, Bill Gonsansky. He took this photo when we started the business, and I am in the middle, and I don't know why, but you can see me there in the middle. Is for me is like I don't know if it's correct, legacy or something, that I have to do this. I have to do this because I want none of them. My brother is the one that I will say, from the left to the right. My 2 cousins, they have a limitation to get to the study right now, but we are helping them as a refugio Paz de las Aves. And my cousin to the right, right now he is a tour guide in Refugio Paz de las Aves. So we are helping them that they can learn, and they can also have more opportunities. And my brother, he is in the university. He is the only one who is going to the university. And Andy also, he is going to the university, but he is doing a tour guide for birding too. So more opportunities.
So before we head to the next slide, I want to give a little bit of context. You're able to help your family a certain amount by working with Refugio Paz and Fundación Paz, but you explained to me not long ago that your ability to earn money is greatly increased here in the United States, which is where you're living right now, and that you can earn more money in the US and send it home and help the business more from the United States. Is that right?
yeah, that's one of the dreams that we were talking about. And
Yeah.
I have my goals, and one of my goals is to keep the refugio safe, to keep the refugio running the business, because it's how my dad and my family is supporting themselves, and how they are supporting my other family too. So, and the other goal that I really want to do is to create the foundation, to growing the foundation.
Yeah.
And in my side, because I am right now living in US, in a beautiful country, and one I one of my dream is I want to travel around US and do some wildlife photography. This is a dream, and that's why right now I am making a living here. So I start selling art. I start selling, and this is, by the way, this photo is my first photo that I sell in this art show, and you can see my face, so happy, so happy. So for me, there's a three goals that I want to achieve, and I want to do it with my heart and very, very good and commitment to do it. I am very committed to do it. This. Um, this is part of who is Vinicio Paz right now, and I'm gonna do a lot of things too.
I think this is wonderful. I want to point out to this. Vinicio just sold this first image just before Christmas last year in 2022. This was a huge, it was a huge event for him. In Ecuador, photography is appreciated, but not in the same way it is in the United States. And for Vinicio to be able to sell his beautiful photography has been life-changing in so many ways. And one of the things we're here to ask all of you today, all of you who are listening, is to not only promote the work of Refugio Paz and the work of Vinicio's family, but to consider finding ways to help Vinicio with his own business, with his photography business as well. He couldn't be here where he is today without tourism in Ecuador, but it's not just about his father's project. It's about where Vinicio wants to go as well, and how that intersects with what his family has done, and how that has helped him grow as an entrepreneur and as a photographer. Vinicio, do you think we should open up for questions?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it.
Would anybody, I'm going to stop the share for right now. That way, if anybody would just like to unmute and ask a question directly, they can. We're a small enough group for that today. And maybe while people are thinking, I will ask the first question. When did you get your first camera, Vinicio?
This is a good question. So I started doing the photography in 2013, 14. So when I started working and making some money, I bought my first camera in 2014, and I was playing a little bit with a very small lens, and my first photo was the challenge was the Andean cock of the rock. That was the one that I was trying to take so bad, and then I remember I built with a lot of must. I put it in myself, and I was hiding in the lake because my land was so close and was so dark. And I say, okay, no, I need to take the photo, and I took. But it was my first photo.
I think that's a wonderful story. John has a question for you. John, would you like to ask Vinicio something?
Yeah, thanks very much, Angie. I'm trying to remember which year I went to Refugio. I think it was very soon after you started, probably 2006 or 7. And it was a wonderful, wonderful day in my life. That's seeing Angel with the ant pitters, and seeing Andean cock of the rock and trogons and lots of other wonderful birds. And I'm very moved by being able to be here today and hear what's happened since then. And it's a terrific story. But you are in control of only a tiny proportion of Ecuador's cloud forest. Can you tell us a little bit about how conservation is going in the rest of the Ecuadorian cloud forest, please?
Sure, absolutely. So right now, the conservation is a big step right now in this time, because there's a lot of there's a one big foundation, the Hokotoco. They are doing great jobs, and we have different other areas that they are putting as a sociobosque, or they are protecting these places. But I will talk about the Northwest in general. Like everywhere, the buildings, they're trying to build some houses, new houses, since the COVID happened. There's some unstable things, but the good thing is there is a lot of places, small places around the area, that they are learning from us, from people who are doing tourism, and they are taking the tourism as a new alternative. So there is just three new places that they are doing the same activity that us, the same thing. They just copy us, and they have new opportunities. So that's why we're so happy. We're doing this, we're talking about how they can make it this. And also they have a new tourist coming. So they protect the area instead to cut the trees and build building. But it's going good right now.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had another question here. Let me find this. We had Mark, who's asking, can you speak a little more on how Angel first started working with ant pitas and gained their trust?
Yeah. So like I told you, my dad, he started doing, trying to make a living from different activities, and sometimes we didn't have enough food, and then he was a hunter too. He was killing some deer, that kind of stuff, because they were so in the deep forest, cutting trees and trying to make a living. So, and I what he did is he started following the birds, and taking the same technique that he does to hunting. So he get this technique to follow the birds in the forest. But this is a good, very quickly history is, so my dad, when he started in training the Anpita, he didn't know how important was this bird. He didn't know. So the refugio started just because we want to show the Andean cock of the rock lake. That's why we started the whole trail. The Anpita was later. So a lot of people came to see the cock of the rock. And then when my dad, he was following the forest, and then he showed the Anpita, the giant Anpita, is when we were famous. We're in magazine, we are in National Geographic too, visit many books and so many news, everything, but it was for the giant Pita. He did something amazing. No one can do it. Now they are doing. Now the idea, my dad idea, now they replicate what they do in Colombia. They are doing in Costa Rica, I think so, in Brazil, in Ecuador, and in Asia too. I saw somebody came to there and say, hey, I want to visit that Angel because I'm doing the same with the pitas. So it now is all over.
We have another question for you, Vinicio, from Paul. Paul, would you go ahead?
Hola, Vinicio. It's Paul.
Hola.
I think I met you when you were little. I used to work in Bella Vista Cloud Forest, and it has been so great to see the project that I remember. I think when I went, they were like trails, but like it was like very basic. And I think I was one of the first one. I remember when your dad came to Bella Vista with the cock of the rock photo, like a very bad photo, obviously, but we recognized, and then he also, we like started looking at the book, And that's when like I showed him, and he was like, "Oh, we have this one and this one." He started talking about the Ampita. So it's like, I just want to congratulate you. Like, where do you live in the U.S.? I live in Chicago. Obviously, I've done a lot of other things since then. I used to also be a guide in Bella Vista, but it's just like really awesome to see. And that's why when I saw this event, I was like, oh, I want to like just say hi to Vinicio
Good.
because you were little. you were
Yeah.
a boy, you know, that was like so long ago, 2005, I think, when your dad came with the
Wow.
blackberries. He delivered
So-
blackberries to Bella Vista. And I was like, you know, it's like so great to see this transformation of somebody who was like doing other things and then now became this like it's like a flag for Ecuador conservation, and like somebody who like did something very different with the forest, and now it's like one of the most important figures in conservation in the cloud forest in Ecuador. So it's like just want to say congratulations and you know
Thank
it's
you.
like awesome
you.
to see you and like speaking English and all of that. Just like remember that little boy.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you were almost the first person who visited that. So imagine
so.
that. And I
think
don't
we
even
brought
know
the
how to
first-
say my name in English.
I think I could say most likely I was one of the first guys to take the first tourist there with Richard Parson from
Gotcha.
from
No,
Bella Vista.
Richard Parson is the owner of Bella Vista Cloud Forest, and he brought the first tourist in our place, and
Yeah. That
he
was with
helped
me,
us
yeah.
to start. Yeah, absolutely.
That was with me. Yeah, we went
Yeah,
together.
there you go.
So,
I
congratulations.
I am living in Florida, in Naples, Florida right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I live in Chicago. I work at the Field Museum. Happy to contact you and connect you with some great scientists here in the Field Museum in Chicago.
This is
Thank you. I
wonderful.
really appreciate it. Thank you. That's cool. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
This is wonderful because it shows the full circle. I love I love this full circle idea. And what I would like to just point attention to is the idea of the blackberries. I don't think a lot of people have heard this story, but when Angel Paz first got the idea to start bird watching on his property, it had nothing to do with bird watching. He was selling blackberries to the Bella Vista Reserve. He was going on a motorcycle along the back roads all the way over to Bella Vista and selling blackberries so the tourists could have jugo de mora, blackberry juice for breakfast in the mornings or with their lunch. And he saw the tourists and said, wow, what's going on? And Richard was able to help him see possibilities. And yeah, thank you so much, Paul, for
Thank you.
for chiming
No,
in.
really,
This
thank
is,
you. And you know, this was the beginning, just the cock of the rock. Just a cock of the rock. And then
Yes.
at the end of the day, we have 5 species of anpitas for everyone. 5 species. The only place in the planet, 5 species of anpitas they can see it. Plus obsolete tapaculo. Plus right now so my dad is unbelievable. Now you know what he's feeding another rare bird, which is rufous-breasted anthrax.
Yeah.
And immaculate amber too. So he has everything. So it's just a gift.
I want to translate this a little bit too for the non-bird watchers. You don't have to be a bird watcher to enjoy visiting the cloud forest of Ecuador. You don't have to be a bird watcher to go stay at Refugio Paz. The experience is amazing. I am a casual bird watcher, and it is an exciting place to be. And the fact that Vinicio was able to hone his photography because of the photographers who visited Refugio Paz, and it sparked all of these ideas, is absolutely an amazing connection. Do we have any last questions from anybody? We have just a couple more minutes before we end. I am going to post a link in the chat. I posted already a few links to Vinicio Paz's website, to his Instagram and his Facebook page. But I also, the last one I'm putting in is a survey for the event. If you have any suggestions for Vinicio about where he might sell his photography in the United States, about galleries that might be open to having a relationship with him, about art fairs that have a very particular wildlife focus, we would love to hear about them. This is part of why we're doing this event, is we want to make it easier for Vinicio to succeed in everything that he's doing, because when Vinicio succeeds, Refugio Paz de las Aves succeeds. It is a family enterprise and they work all together. So we have one last question from Jackie. Jackie, go ahead and ask away.
Hello, Angie and Vinicio and everyone. Thank you so much for organizing this information, this meeting. It's wonderful. More than one question, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to Vinicio and to Angie also for inspiring to us as Ecuadorian woman who loves Ecuador, who loves the biodiversity, the tourism, and especially to I really love the birds. It's really motivating and inspiring to see how we could get when we are together. And in especially when we could just to show to the rest of the people or the world, it doesn't matter if you are interested or not in some projects, specific projects, but for sure you are going to be pro-life. So this is one project that I really love because this is a very beautiful example of how a family could change of mind or could change out of a project of life with one person and to move feelings around the world, especially as on the beginning with their own family. So I want just to say thank you so much. You're inspiring to me every day. When I arrive to my office and I see to the right side on the wall, there is a very nice picture from the Refugio Paz de las Aves that when I arrived to work to this enterprise, it was there. So when I arrived there and I saw that, I was really feeling blessed. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, and thank you, Jackie. That's my photo for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Vinicio, would you like to have a few last words before we close out?
I just want to say thank you, everyone, and I have like I will say like a death for nature. I was born in this beautiful place, in this beautiful forest, and I am so grateful for everyone, everyone who help us for for achieve the goal, for help us to protect the forest and for protect my family. I am so grateful with that, and I'm gonna keep working so hard to protect my family and the rest of the forest that we have right now. And just that, I apologize for any English, that's some problems there, but thank you for enjoy. I am very open. If you want some information, if you want to travel Ecuador, you're welcome to come to my family. And something that I will add to this is anybody who came to my place is part of the family. It's not just, we're not like business, we are a family. You come up with us and you will feel or warm as a family. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna keep going, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Vinicio, especially because you spoke from the heart. When we speak from the heart, it doesn't matter what language, what words, it comes across. And it's very clear that you love your family, that you love your country, and that you love what you're doing now. And we really appreciate you being so vulnerable and sharing this story with us. Thank you very much. To the rest of you, we're so happy you were able to join us today. I will be putting this recording online so that if you would like to share it with other people, you'll be free to do so. But we really appreciate you attending this event live. It's so much easier to talk to a real audience with real people, and you made that happen today. Thank you so much. We will be in touch. Have a great rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Be safe.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.